later, I think he looked at it with his failed comedian career.
That's why would you call her a doctor, brother?
What you want to do is get into her head, pull it apart, so that then you can say, oh, yeah, we have stripped Cam of anything. See, I was right. What's up, guys? It's your girl Rivah, and I'm back again with another video. So recently I was invited onto Corey Holcomb's podcast 5150, in which he just wanted to bring me on and have us talk about certain things based off of what he's seen I've done here on my platform, Rivah TV. Now, coincidentally, the day before I'm, supposed to be set to go on to the podcast, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, who we know from her viral interaction that she had with Cam Newton on his podcast, in which she, talked about the broken family structure that he's created. She decided to, go on to the Breakfast Club, and she completely, ripped Corey Holcomb to shreds.
Later, I think he looked at it with his failed comedian career, because he's been attempting his career for about 45 or so years with his failed comedian career, his failed marriage. And I'm not saying this to be mean. Y'all can just research it. It's true. And his failed parenting skills with his kids, because none of those people deal with him.
Based off of the fact that he, made a statement on Cam Newton's podcast stating that she was not a real doctor.
Why would you call her a doctor, brother? I'm not saying your platform is fake at all. I'm just saying, when somebody say Dr. Bryant, it irks me. Where's her colleagues? Where's she a doctor at? Because I've done the research.
So when Dr. Cheyenne Bryant went on to, the Breakfast Club, she had so many things to say. I mean, she talked on various different topics, various different subjects, based off of, again, the highlight that she got from going on Cam Newton's platform, and then like the domino effect that created. And so I was already going to react to that situation. But due to the timing of everything, Corey and I ended up, and everybody else on the 5150 panel, we ended up having a conversation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to react to, our conversation, our segment of the conversation, as well as I'm going to add the things that I would have reacted to separately into this, so that we can, dig a little bit deeper in the conversation, and I can expand on the things that I wanted to say.
This young lady is another young lady who I noticed conducts herself like a lady.
Yeah.
She's not out there making the race look bad. And I am so glad. I've never met her in person, but I noticed her. And I said to myself, my people need to know who this is. Darlene was aware of her.
Yep. I was like, what?
Darlene, are you on, sister?
Can she hear us?
Can she hear us yet?
Hold on.
Okay, we're going to get her in.
Wait, ask her to unmute it.
Did they unmute it? Anyway.
No, she's going to check. Hold on.
You know her name, right, D?
Rivah. Uh-huh.
Rivah what? What's her thing?
She doesn't use her last name, but it's TV.
She's Rivah
her
TV.
channel is Rivah TV, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're going to get her on here, I guess momentarily. You know how technical difficulties come with this Zoom sometime.
So, yeah, I was struggling a little bit, y'all. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I was trying to figure out the whole microphone setup and situation, but I wanted to address really quickly what he has to say. And then when we go through, I'm not going to pause and play too much. Only when I feel like there's needs that I need to expand. But I wanted to talk about that because Corey Holcomb has this viewpoint from a lot of women, right? I see it all the time in the comment sections on the internet that people are, consider him like a woman basher. He can't stand women. He's misogynistic and so many different, too many words. And I think that this is also a learning moment for a lot of women to understand that it is not personal, when people have a certain mindset or ideology. It's more of just logic. In my opinion, from what I've seen of Corey in the videos that I've reacted to, it's more so a situation that he can't deal with the foolishness. Right. And so a lot of the women who call him out or say that he's against them is because they're with the foolishness. And so since they know they can't keep up the same foolishness, they'd rather just push him away and, call him names and deflect from the actual situation.
But we see her. We can't hear her yet, right?
Wait, maybe can she see us? Yeah. Oh,
her mic is not on her end. She gonna figure it out.
Yeah. There it is.
This is a smart girl. Hey, what up, sister? We are so glad to have you on the show. And yo, I'm gonna tell you something. I hear you speaking. You speak so well. You speak in a way where when I see you, I'm like, okay, here's a sister who knows how to handle herself, knows how to speak, and she's not talking from emotion only. She's got some facts to tell the world. Can you tell everybody your name?
My name is Rivah from Rivah TV.
Rivah from Rivah TV. What's up? Yeah. Man, look, dog, look at little sister right there. She's nice. This is not going to be another one of our East Coast affiliates. I think she's somewhere in Florida.
Yes.
Yeah. So listen, I know you know what's up because you do stories about things that are out there. Do you have something to weigh in on when it comes to anything that you want to talk about right now? Because I listen to you. Anything you want to talk about right now, give it to her.
You know, the thing is that I'm not sure if your audience knows, I definitely do reaction videos. So this is like my, and me being as observant as I am, as analytical as I am, there was a lot of things that were going on within the conversation. And it was so ironic because you and I had already coordinated me coming here before she released this whole...
I'm so glad you said that because people would say, oh, he did that just to do this. No, I was going to have the sisters on anyway. But God put the heifer out there to be... She want to be famous. You know what I'm saying? And she was willing to lie to be famous, but I just don't want to egg nobody on. But what did you notice about that conversation? If that's what you want to talk about, you can talk about anything you want to talk about.
I think that it's important that I highlight this portion of the conversation before we get into it because, again, this was already coordinated before the conversation about Dr. Bryant, because it was not anticipated that she was going to go on the Breakfast Club and talk about Corey and the Cam and the entire situation in which he saw me react to. So, it's important to know that he was really just trying to highlight, this perspective from a woman on his platform, just because he saw the necessity of it, right? He saw the value in women understanding or even seeing the fact that there are other perspectives out there, that it's not just tunnel vision one way, connect with the sisterhood and that's it. So that's why he was, often saying, you can say whatever you want to, you can talk about whatever you want to, or you can talk about this. Yeah, I do want to talk about it. Just, I would say briefly, but sometimes I could be long-winded. So, stop me whenever needed.
Do your thing, sister.
But the first thing is that the first time I saw, Dr. Bryant, we don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's like Dr. Dre kind of Dr. Bryant or Dr. Bryant. I don't know. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding, everybody. Okay, nobody take it serious. It was a joke. I'm just trying to be funny to a comedian. But
we ain't found no license on. My bad. Go ahead.
She aftermath
right.
doctor.
I'm not sure, but before we even get into what I'm gonna say, I want to talk about that. I think that if you're in a space that you are helping people or aiding people, right? And if you are in a space of wanting to see better in the community or whatever the case is, I would assume that if somebody questioned your credentials or questioned your background, there would kind of be no offense to that because it's understandable, right? When Kevin Samuels was out and he was talking, every platform that he went on, people always ask, why are you qualified to give this information? And he always said the same thing. So you being a doctor, just in my personal, opinion, no shade, I'm just being honest, you would assume that if somebody, questioned it or brought it up, that there wouldn't be something to kind of be defensive about. You know what I mean?
Yes, I definitely agree. I just don't want to sound like them cluckhead motherfuckers on the Breakfast Club egging on some, yeah, tell them, yeah. All them clucky.
Well, I have to say, I have to say this too. You know, one thing is that when I saw the interview of Dr. Cheyenne Bryant on the Breakfast Club, I did see that Charlamagne was defending Corey Holcomb though.
I don't have a career. I do. He doesn't have a career. So
he got a good comedy career. He does stand up. He just stays in 5150, the big podcast, and he does stand up.
Where you be at? What?
Where you be at?
Thank you. We back. She got a good career, but anyways, we back.
So I do want to put that out there that I did notice that, you know, he did defend him when a lot of the allegations that, you know, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant and even Just Hilarious were spewing, you know, Charlamagne was kind of like, y'all taking it a little bit too far because he's really out here.
All them cluckhead mother.
Yeah, I would just assume that it would be something that's kind of like, you know, natural. But the first time that I saw anything was when I reacted to the situation with Cam Newton, right? That took the internet by wildfire.
You're not taking your time.
I am, though.
You're being very action-based. You're not taking your time. You're being very action-based.
I'm taking my time.
You're being very action-based. You have 8 kids with 3 different women.
Yes.
You are creating, procreating, and multiplying. That is not taking your time. You're being very selectively active.
And I noticed immediately that there was a little bit of hypocrisy in the things that she's saying. There's some stuff that she said that I agree with. I mean, I can agree with anyone. You know, I'm a very understanding and open person. So somebody talking or speaking about anything, there's a lot of things that can resonate and can be true, you know. But I thought that, as you know, starting off with that conversation with Cam Newton, which is her claim to fame, you know, in this space, I noticed that, you know, she was very adamant on him doing things in a particular way. And I think as women, we understand that when it comes to relationships, you as a woman, you're only in control but so much. You're not the leading factor of the household, of relationships. You don't have a say when you go from girlfriend to wife. You know, you don't have that control. You only have control over if you're doing the right thing and playing the role, if he will give you that opportunity. So I think in the way in which she was kind of demanding, oh, you got to do this, it's, you know, just, again, this is no shade. I know a lot of women don't agree with my way of thinking, you know, in some shape or form, but kind of like, who are you to tell this man who's created all this family structure exactly the way in which you feel he's supposed to be able to do that? So I wanted to expand on this, right? Because I think 2 things could be not misconstrued, but I want women who are listening to me talk about these things, you know, or anyone in general, actually. But I know that she has a strong female following, and I think it's essential that if I say that there's certain things that I could possibly agree with her on, that I'm, you know, pinpointing exactly what those things are. So one of the things I could say is that, you know, she had a conversation with him, and she was talking about the fact that, you know, he's in a space where he has, you know, created certain families, but, you know, eventually if he settles down with, you know, Jasmine or maybe another woman, that if he decides to procreate with that woman, that woman is going to get daddy, you know, in the house from sun up to sundown, you know, all day long around the clock, and how it can, you know, affect the children in different ways. I can understand that.
Every child cannot have Papa in the house with them. So some child, if not all will end up with some kind of deficit without daddy being there.
You know, I can understand her narrative of marry before you carry 100%. I can completely understand, you know, that conversation and what she has. And I completely agree with that. However, I think in which, you know, he's saying that he's, you know, in a situation with Jasmine and whatever it is, and he's trying to figure it out, and he's created situations with these women. These women have been, you know, a part of this situation. I remember Cam Newton, when he did the Erica Mena interview, he actually talked about the fact that, like, the first woman that he was in a relationship with, she created, you know, she wanted him to be like this cookie cutter guy. And he realized that he is not that guy. Like, you know, maybe he thought the right thing to do was go on the path and aspire to marriage. And that's what he was trying to work towards. Realized that he was kind of, you know, stringing her along in that process, and decided that, you know, I'm going to be true to myself. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to, you know, we're going to have to separate from this situation, because I've matured and I can no longer fulfill you in that way, because it's going to be unfair to you, because you want me to be this structured, simple, regular guy. I can't be that.
The thing was that for my first situation, my first baby mama, I was living a lie, right? Mm-hmm. I was living something that really wasn't true to me.
Right.
And I hurt her
in the
process.
The irony in that situation is Dr. Cheyenne Bryant talked about the fact that she talked about this on the Breakfast Club, she also was in a long-term relationship with a man, and she strung him along for 10 years. And get this, it's the same exact thing, because she knew in year 5 or 6 that he was not the one for her, but she still continued the foolishness and continued staying with him when she could have set him free from year 4, from 5 or 6, and allowed him the space to be able to pursue somebody else who would want to be in a relationship with him.
I was engaged for 10 years. Engaged for 10 years? I kept putting it off because I knew that wasn't my person.
Great guy. For 10 years? 10 years?
And she said he was a great guy.
Great guy. He was a great guy. He just wasn't my guy.
10 years, he thought he was the guy.
So you strung him along for 10 years? Why you ain't let him go be great with somebody else that would appreciate him and love him?
So I'm not saying for 10 years I knew he wasn't the one. When we got about year number 5 or 6 and I seen that.
Now, if Dr. Bryant was actually a man and she was in a relationship and the person who she was stringing along in that time frame was a woman, now, and she, got that woman pregnant, she would be absolutely no different than Cam Newton. So I think that that's very, very important to mention.
Well put. Can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
Do you think that you can cheat on someone that's not your wife?
No.
I think the bigger question is, what is cheating?
Well, of course. That's why I asked you, what is cheating?
What does
if
that
you're
even
not
mean?
married to that person, can you cheat on that person? Of course, this is opinion.
I mean, if you want to go by systematic ways, I would assume the answer would be no, right? Because all these same women with this same narrative are like, oh, well, until he put a ring on it, I'm a single woman. So, he can't expect me to cook, clean, and do all these things. So how can we now hold him to a certain standard if you don't have that mindset?
Yeah, man. It's like...
Again, that's hypocrisy.
Yep.
It is hypocrisy. I don't want to throw you off because I want you to get your chance to say what you want to say, because this is our first time really doing a show like this. And I'm proud of you, sister. That's what I want you to know. You're going to find your way in this game by doing it the way you're doing it, because the way you're doing it is moral. You're going to find your way in this game. All the stuff you're looking for is coming, even though, you take, what's that, Fox whatever?
Foxhole?
What's the show? Foxhole.
Foxhole.
Now, see, a place like Foxhole, they keep reinventing bum-ass bitches that ain't never been talking about shit. I noticed that about Foxhole. Foxhole always got some bum-ass bitches, ain't never done nothing but been ran through and justified it.
So I want to talk about that for a second as well. So I've reacted, I think, in the past to various clips from the Foxhole show in which he's speaking about, and I believe at one point it was like Lisa Ray and some other people, whatever. I want to note this, a lot of the people who are highlighted, oftentimes, especially when it comes to an audience that's catered to women, it is very much centered around, you could do better by yourself. You don't need men. Men are just an option. You don't need nobody to lead you. You can lead yourself. Men are, beneath you. We're better than men. We make more money than men. It's all coming from a place of, in some instances, failed results and people who are miserable, right? And the problem is that when all those women get together and they have these conversations on, in broad places, a lot of people start to live within that space and believe that that's reality and that's the only reality. So that's how things happen, where you get a woman who's now saying, actually, I do need a man. I do want to get on a man's page. I do want to be submissive to my husband. I do want to make sure that I'm doing these things. And now she's the one who's pushed out of the circle because it's not going into what they all have agreed on is the norm, again, based off of bitterness or possible failed results.
You, in my opinion, will grow above that. You will be what you're setting out to be, sister. And I know I don't know you like that, but I'm telling you, I know people that stand out and got the light in front of them. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yep.
I really appreciate you saying that. That means a lot to me.
It's real, because I know. I'm like, okay, here goes the light. You know, there's not that many lights on the internet. It's a whole bunch of dark switches.
It's true.
And there's a way you can...
I'm going to be honest. You know, from this interaction with Corey Holcomb, one thing I know for sure is that he's not what people think he is at all. Like, you know, who he is as a comedian and a personality, like he's authentic, right? Like he's real. That's who he is. But like his inner self, and not just because he said something nice about me. I want to get that clear. You can just tell that he's an authentic, real, genuine person. And, you know, sometimes that's why people are against you, is because you're being your authentic self. And sometimes in being authentic, you go against the grain. And it's not easy when you're in spaces when you're going against the grain and not going with the flow of how everything is done. You know, you get a lot of people combating that, you know. And so it's nice when people can acknowledge what you're doing in a space that, you know, again, you're not going with the norm.
And there's a way you can check your subscriptions, your subscribers, I mean. And remember I told you when he mentioned you, I was like, what? That's the girl. I was like, oh, hold on. I said, she could check and see when I started following her.
People are already watching you before this, but I think my audience needs to know who you are, because you represent morality, not just womanhood. You represent what's right. So you keep doing what you're doing, and I'm telling you, the haters gonna come anyway. They're gonna find something. They're gonna find something to say about you. Ain't nothing you can do about that.
I've been called pick me, mammy, male identified, whatever, like just all kind of stuff. You know, I've been called all kind of stuff. And that's why I was saying, you know, I'm not that type of person to like, oh, let's shine all the light on me and let's talk about me. Like, I'm really not that type of person. Hence why most of the time he's talking to me, I'm like putting my head down or whatever, because I'm really not that type of person. But again, when you've been called so many different things and then somebody can say, nah, I feel you, you know, and I understand your aim, your mission, and what this is about. And I see, you know, recognize the real. I can feel your authenticity. That speaks volumes. That speaks a lot, because not because I don't get on here and talk about the things that people have done or said or whatever, doesn't mean that it's not happening. I just, you know, you got to keep your tunnel vision and focus on the mission.
We God's choice soldiers, and this shit is not easy. Ain't that right, God? You fuck with me, right, God? God fuck with me. These people don't understand.
Your research her research is incredible, impeccable.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Your research is top notch.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, see, that's why I said analytical. You know, I really pay attention when people speak. I watch.
Did you say ain't no little hoe? No, I'm fucking with you.
Ain't no little hoes.
You know that this is the first time I heard what he said. If you can notice my face, I did not notice what he said in that moment. I was really baffled. So hearing it back, I'm like, what did he just say?
No little hoes, man, no big hoes in Hollywood.
We silly. Hey, do you want to make any other points? Because I can sit down and listen to you talk.
Yes, I'll take you. I'll take you on a date.
I did.
Craig said he wanted to take you on a date. I think she got somebody, Craig.
That's what she was about to say. Oh man,
I do. I'm building up a tribe though, so there'll be a lot of more like-minded women that are open to the opportunities.
That's right, sister. That's right, sister. That's right, sister.
I did want to touch on a couple things. Just you know, one thing that a couple things caught me from that particular interview. Because if we're going to talk about her in general and the whole thing, I think we'd be here all day. But one of the things was when she mentioned on the Breakfast Club that she would sit down with Jasmine. I thought that was disrespectful.
Okay? It was.
I thought that was because, in my opinion, okay, and this is all my opinion.
She was trying to flirt with Jasmine. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What'd you say?
She was trying to flirt with Jasmine because I know how she moved.
So in my opinion, it came across in a way of, you say that you want to help, you say that you want the family structure, you say that you want the community, but how many times does Jasmine have to scream from the rooftop that she's happy in her relationship, she understands who he is, she is his balance, and she's not going anywhere. I really wanted to say this, you know, in a broad space, that point, you know, of the conversation of what Dr. Cheyenne Bryant had on the Breakfast Club, because, you know, she stated that she's going, you know, they asked her if she would talk to Cam Newton, and then she stated that she would actually like to have talked to Jasmine.
But who I would love to have a conversation with, whether it's on camera or not just to more support her in whatever she's doing right now or feeling or going through, is Jazz.
Yeah.
I would love to have a conversation with Jazz, even if it's a private session. I think that she needs tools on how to be in this relationship if she's going to stay.
Now, my problem with that situation is that, you know, Jasmine has been receiving so much backlash on social media because of the conversation that started off with Dr. Bryant, right? And when they asked Dr. Bryant if she felt, you know, any kind of way or any remorse about the fact that it could possibly have caused any turmoil, her answer was no. So if you don't have any feelings about the fact that it caused any kind of possible backlash, if you are in a space that, you know, you look at Cam a certain way, and you've also, you know, you were the one who went out on the limb and called this woman low functioning, and then you're saying that you would talk to her, in my opinion, the only reason why you would be, you know, wanting to have a conversation with her or wanting to speak with her is to put a separation between the two of them. Why is it does it seem from the internet, and obviously because they're all piggybacking off of, you know, Dr. Bryant, they're trying to force her to, they're like, oh, you're happy? No, I don't think so. Are you sure?
She's happy. She's like, okay, I'm all in. I'm abiding by every rule that you have. Then what the hell are you going to talk to her about?
That Jazz got herself into something that, one, she didn't understand that she was getting herself into, and I think she would love to backpedal if she could.
Like, you see how smart she is, though? Like, that's a great point.
Divisive. You know, it's very divisive. Like, you want the family structure, but Jazzy. And I gotta say this, okay? Because I have to be really honest. But again, this is all my opinion. Nobody can get mad at me for this is my observation, my opinion.
They get mad at you no matter what you do, but go ahead,
correct.
Sister.
It comes off as you didn't like the fact that Cam is so strong in his masculine. You didn't like the fact that he has the ability to have options. And so what you want to do is get into her head, pull it apart, so that then you can say, oh, yeah, we have stripped Cam of anything. See, I was right. Now, let me explain, okay? Let me explain that for a second. A lot of women, right? And again, what I'm saying, and I always have to do the same disclaimer, is my opinion, but I see on the internet that women are flocking behind Dr. Bryant, right? And, you know, no harm, no foul. Okay, cool. They're flocking behind Dr. Bryant, and, you know, she was on, when I said her claim to fame was in this space, was in the relationship talking, you know, relationship podcast, whatever space. I know that she was on Teen Mom and stuff like that, but a lot of these women are so happy and so, you know, willing to support blindly or any kind of way because she put a quote unquote man in his place, right? She quote unquote checked a man. She quote unquote, you know, stood on business, whatever the situation was, right?
When I say I finally had the opportunity to see the podcast with Cam Newton and Dr. Bryant, Dr. Bryant, you are a professional choke holder. I adore you. I love you. I love how you broke it down. I love how you triggered him, his body language, and him. If you notice, he did that a lot because he was triggered. And he was really triggered because it came from a strong black woman.
So it then creates this underlying, you know, feminist mindset, right? And although the conversation is, I can't wait till I have a man, and I can't wait until I'm in a relationship, and I can't wait until I'm married, although that's the things that are verbally being said, that's the pretty side of it. There's an underlying, you know, you're in control, you're the leader. You know, she talks in a way that's very masculine, right? I'm the one who's picking and choosing what I'm doing. I'm the one who's going to pick and choose who I'm going to be with. Like, it's all up to me.
I say I'm in my choosing stage, and I'm really looking forward to staying. But it will be my first time utilizing a lot of my new tools, new because I've been single 6 years, of this attachment anxiety I've had to work through, of what that looks like. So there's going to be things in me that are new, that inflame and trigger, that I'm going to have a hell of a man who's mature enough, emotionally intelligent enough to sit through certain conversations with me that are going to be transparent.
We know for a fact that, again, men are the ones who are in control of who is, turns to girlfriend, who turns to wife. Women are in control of who if they bring a child into the world. But I'm saying all that to say that a lot of women with that undertone of I'm the leader, I'm the boss, a lot of women who are talking to men and having conversations with men, kind of going toe to toe with them, no matter how, how much you try to kind of like pretty it up. It, again, with that feminist undertone, a lot of those women actually don't like when men are so strong in their masculine because it's like a challenge, right? So just like, she's gone on different platforms and saying like, oh yeah, I put the pedal to the metal and I showed him, it's because it's like this, right? It's not a woman and a man having a conversation. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to go, we could go. I'm going to have the last word. I'm going to say what I got to say. I'm going to, check you. I'm going to put you in your place. And we have to pay attention to those things because even in the Breakfast Club interview, she used a word in which she talked about, how she communicates with Nick Cannon, and the word was penetrate.
And I said, okay, no problem, but I'm going to penetrate. It's funny because Nick always goes, Doc, do you have to use that word? I'm like, yeah, I am. I'm penetrating you at the space that obviously is broken. Yeah.
Now, for me, I just think that the verbiage that you use when you're talking to someone says a lot about you. And in my opinion, using the word penetrate when speaking to a man of how you're going to deal with him, it says a lot about your dominion complex or your dominating nature. As a woman, again, relating to a man and being in this space of holding women accountable so that they can get positive results, there's nothing wrong if people are asking questions or trying to see or figure out who this woman is, because again, women are flocking to her and following her just because she quote unquote checked a man. But is that going to lead to positive results? Or is that, going to lead all these women into singledom, and we're just going to sit here and wait until the perfect person comes, no matter if we're 50, 60, 70 years old?
Girls are genius.
Our team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I think that's kind of messed up. And it's also, it keeps causing this campaign of people coming at her on the internet. And listen, I said this in one of the conversations from you, actually, when you were talking to Cam and you were talking about men who have options. Every woman is not built to be with a man that is a man who has options. There's women for that, right?
Yes.
I think the problem becomes, if you are a woman who is not equipped, if you're over jealous, if you question everything, if you're insecure within yourself, if you're disrespectful and you're going to get rowdy at any point, that's not the man for you. Find a man who's simple, says, listen, baby, I only want one woman. I want a house, picket fence. I want to work at the bank. I want to create a family. Be with that man. But the problem becomes, in my opinion, when a woman who wants that gets with a man who says, hey, I'm out here and I want my options. I have options. And then you're trying to force him to be something. That's when the problem comes in. But it's not the men. I want to just make a quick point. That's the whole point of the Jasmine situation, right? She's saying that I know who he is. I know that he's out here, and I know that he sometimes dabbles with, or he did in the past, but I'm going to stick with it. I'm staying with him, and we're going to work through these things, and I'm not going anywhere. That's not going to change the fact that I'm going to leave him. Okay, that's her perspective. That's her relationship. You have women who don't have a man, ain't never had a man, don't have a relationship, don't live with a man, don't have the covering, the leadership, the nothing, who are out there giving their take on her situation, but she's in a relationship with a man and lives with him under the same roof with her child. How they're going about navigating that, she is equipped to deal with that situation. If you're not equipped to deal with that situation, do something different. Okay? Choose the man who is not the celebrity at the forefront, who has options, who's this, and or again, choose the man who says, I don't want to be bothered with multiple women, multiple attitudes, the drama, the this. I only want one woman and family structure. But again, in women all wanting the same man, women want the man who every woman wants, but they want him to act like the man who only wants one woman. Doesn't always work out like that. Comes in, but it's not the men in being who they are. I think that's the problem.
And the women that are with them.
What do you mean?
They want to change them. They want, like she was.
Right.
I saw your that episode. I saw that show where you brought up those points. And I was like, it's true. I was like, wait a second. So she's upset because she's not thinking like her. She wants her to be in her shoes and do that. No,
that's
leave
called
them alone. That's their get down. If that's their get down, mind your business. Who are you to say that they're not happy with that?
That's called dichotomous thinking. That's when you present a way of thinking like there's only two options: my way or no way. So,
and my way's correct type thing.
Did you say dichotomous?
That's
Dichotomous.
the vibe they're on. Right.
Yes, black and white.
Dichotomous Bryant.
Right.
But I agree.
No, hey, but look, Sister C, you haven't had much time to get out here and make your point, but you and the sister before you, who you are, stands out already. Yeah. And I think people need to get into what this young lady here is about. How do they find you? People want to know how they find you.
So on all platforms, I am RIVAH TV. So Rivah TV. And obviously I'm here on YouTube. I react to things. I give the same kind of perspective on my platform. I'm on other places as well, TikTok, but I'm not, the place that I saturate the most is YouTube.
and you guys subscribe and follow and like. Go on her channel.
Thank you so much.
What they say?
They said dichotomous.
Dichotomous, yeah. No, they said they say Dr. Bryant gonna send a stud bitch to your door.
Don't come knocking on my door, okay? Don't come knocking. I don't got nothing for you, okay? Don't come knocking on my door trying to beat me up. Okay, I'm gonna have to call Brooke Bailey. No. Again, I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. It's a joke. I'm kidding. But yeah, this was an amazing experience. And again, I'm always grateful for when people can understand my perspective, understand what I'm coming from. You know, I generally appreciate that. And again, I have to say, based off of the conversation that Corey had with me, I think that speaks volumes to all the women who say that he can't stand women, he's misogynistic and all these things. I think that speaks a lot to that whole conversation, because it's not true. Again, it has nothing to do with women as a whole. It has a lot to do with him exposing women's foolishness. And truth be told, a lot of women don't like to be held accountable. They don't like their foolishness exposed. They don't like to be told no. They don't like to be told that they're wrong. And so that's when he becomes the bad guy. And he doesn't mind. Okay? He doesn't mind being the bad guy because he's always going to, be honest and speak his truth. Anyways, guys, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you guys in the next one. Love you.